here's something that I didn't know. I didn't know that comic books and graphic novels are the most widely read form of literature. And that's incredible. I go, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
And so we're talking to Bob Luedke, and he is the producer. In the old days, get a load of this. This is what he produced. You go, oh my word, does he need God or not? Look at that stuff.
Don't hold that
against him, because this is what he has produced recently, Acts of the Spirit and Eyewitness. And after 15 years in mainstream comic book industry, he's had a transformation in both his life and his work. Welcome to the program, Bob Luedke. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so talk to us about 40 years as a skeptic. You really were living a life that, well, you tell us about your life that you were living at that time.
Well, I was raised in a Lutheran family, but the Spirit of God never really kind of permeated it, and so I never really got it. Church to me just seemed like another day of school. And when I was confirmed at 15, my mom said, now it's your choice whether you want to go to church or not. And the choice was, hey, good. I have Sundays free. I can watch football. But I grew up being very skeptical and just kind of dove into everything the world of the flesh had to offer, and the spiritual part of my life was way back somewhere. I always had an interest, but that's about as far as it went.
Now, how do you get okay, so how do you go into this profession of developing comic books, and tell us about the process of developing comic books and how popular they are today? It's incredible.
Right. Well, like you mentioned, comic books, graphic novels, most widely read format of literature outside the United States. I must put that caveat in there.
Right.
Now, in the United States, graphic novels are advancing. They've raised in the amount of sales yearly about 500% over the last 5 years, where every other format of literature is kind of dropping off now.
And what is this called? Template?
Template, yeah, that was a series I did back in the 90s. It was a science fiction based action adventure series, and
cool.
yeah, and I had a small but loyal following around the country, but it wasn't really enough to float the business indefinitely. So I had to kind of put it aside, and I went off into a different business along with my wife.
Now, then tell us about the turnaround in your life.
Well, during that period, I had 3 people very close to me all pass within a 6-month period of time. It was my father, a person who was one of my oldest and best friends in the world, who was the best man at my wedding, and then also somebody who was, at that time, a business mentor for me. And it made me, like a lot of people at the early 40s, kind of just evaluate where I was at in my life, and I hadn't really thought I had did enough or a lot. Coming out of college, you can ask my wife, and she was always really moved by me that I always had big goals, big dreams, big aspirations to make an effect in the world some way, and I really hadn't. And just all the the money we had earned and saved, and the toys we had, and the wild nightlife we lived, and all these things, all of it stopped really having meaning for me. And so I looked at the one corner of my life that I've pretty much always just kind of discounted, and that was the spiritual side of my life. And so I began kind of a quest that lasted about a year of just investigating different ministries and churches and reading books and actually starting reading the Bible for the first time in my life, all here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to kind of come to grips to where I was at.